As a heterosexual man, I do believe that Leon Kennedy is the hottest male in the entire video game industry. The fact that he's a bit old now and he has like LSTD, even though that just makes him more hotter. Like, if I would have hair like Leon, I would have so many bitches. What type of bitches you thought I was talking about? Resident Evil 9, also known as Requiem, takes place in October 2026. Approximately 28 to 30 years after 1998 destruction of Raccoon City. Right now it's March 2026, which means that I'm playing this into the future. But real quick, if you travel into the future, does your penis get smaller or bigger? I feel like some changes to your body are happening because you are in the space-time continuous, and either you like it, do you compress yourself, and if you compress yourself because it's that difference, like that means there's shrinkage, or just because you've extended yourself into the future, you get like an inch more. The game closely follows Leon S. Kennedy and Grace Ashcroft. In 1998, Raccoon City disaster is definitely the most important event for both characters. Grace was not born back then, but her mom was around. The T-virus outbreak destroys Raccoon City. The event becomes the central trauma of the entire series of Resident Evil. And now we're kind of like taken back to that first one. Leon's role, well, back then he was a rookie police officer arriving for his first day on the job. He survives the zombie outbreak. He rescues Sherry Birkin, a child caught in a chaos. This event changes Leon's life forever, as you will discover in this game. No spoilers. Fast forward 2004, Resident Evil 4, Leon is now an elite agent. You can play the original or the remaster, which I highly recommend you do that. The mission of Leon back then was to rescue the president's daughter, Ashley Graham. Ashley, from a cult in Spain, because there's only two places where you can find cults, Mississippi and Spain. This is where Leon becomes one of the most famous, if not the most famous character in the entire franchise. 2012-2013, Resident Evil 6. Very good video game, do not play the multiplayer. Leon is a veteran government operative this time. He fights another global bioterror outbreak involving some new type of viruses, still zombies. After Resident Evil 6, Leon joins the Division of Security Operations, DSO. Conveniently, again, you will find them in this video game. An USA anti-bioterror agency. He spends years stopping outbreaks around the world, including, you guessed it, Iran, which is exactly what the United States government is doing right now as I'm recording this. Bombing schools with little girls inside, killing civilians, and just laying waste to people's lives. Seriously, I do hope this whole Iran situation ends very fast, because it's disgusting to watch. It really is. And I feel for the Iranian people. But now we are in the present, or in the future, because it's 2026 October. Anyways, Resident Evil 9. Leon is now around roughly 50 years old, and my god, he looks amazing. He returns once again to investigate events connected to the original Raccoon City tragedy, which still pretty much haunt him. Narratively, or how do you say that word, this is likely meant to be a final mission for the old soldier, or a passing the torch moment. I strongly wish they don't pass the torch, because I want to play 10 more video games with this guy. But what about Grace Ashcroft, the newcomer? No one knows anything about her. She's literally new to the franchise. Grace is a new character introduced specifically for Resident Evil 9. Her family connection is somehow the key. Her mother, Eliza Ashcroft, or Elisa, I don't know. Eliza was a journalist who survived the 1998 Raccoon City outbreak, which I guess makes her the same age with Leon. Unfortunately, she is no longer with us. 1998 is also important to me because that's the first time I've ever touched a woman's breasts. It was like at the end of the summer, we were doing this road trip to see a bunch of museums. And we were with a couple of teachers among our history teacher. She was a bit young and she was a temp at my school. I was in the 7th grade and like kids were rushing down the bus. Everyone was running and I was running too. And as I got off the bus, the teacher kept saying, slow down. But I tripped on, might have been the last step as I was getting off the bus. And I just like extended, I was about to trip, and I extended my head in front of me. So, because that's what you do instinctively, when you're about to fall, right? And she was right there in front of me. Maybe she was trying to catch me. I'm not exactly sure. As I was falling to the ground, I mistakenly cupped her 2 breasts with my hands. Trying to, I don't know, grab onto something before I face plunge it into the asphalt. But it was a very embarrassing moment. Also, the first time I've touched a woman's breasts, and the last time that, yeah, because I've been, playing video games. Between 2000-ish and 2010, Grace grows up knowing that her mother survived a horrific bioweapons disaster. Eliza continues investigating the truth behind Umbrella and the outbreak. This leads to 2018. Eliza Ashcroft is murdered in a mysterious incident at a hotel. This becomes the defining trauma of Grace's life. 2020, Grace becomes an FBI intelligence analyst. Unlike the most Resident Evil protagonists, she is not a fighter. By no means, she is an investigator and an analyst. 2026, Resident Evil Requiem. Grace investigates a series of mysterious deaths connected to the survivals of Raccoon City. One of the deaths occur at the same hotel where her mother died. So I guess her motivations are very much personal. She has to discover what really happened to her mom, uncover the truth behind Raccoon City survivors. Victor Gideon. He is definitely involved. Born somewhere around 1960s and a 70s estimated birth date, Victor Gideon is believed to be part of the older generation tied to bioweapon research. This places him roughly around the events that followed in the 90s and the rise of bioweapon research. During that period of time, Umbrella Corporation secretly develops these weapons, and in 98, boom, Raccoon City. And sure enough, Gideon was somehow responsible for whatever happened there. After the whole incident, many Umbrella scientists disappear. Government agencies begin secret investigations. Victor Gideon likely becomes involved with a cover-up or the investigation of what really happened. This is also the event that shaped Leon S. Kennedy's life. And you will see in a video game that Leon and Victor, they know each other from back when Victor was still a human being.
She won't get away, you know. Dr. Gideon. So nice to finally meet you, Leon.
You will get to play with both of them, right? Simultaneously, no, but their stories very much intertwined. We've seen this in Resident Evil 4 and it was beautifully done. Here, I feel like they took it even further. Their stories are very much intertwined. No spoilers. The cutscenes are fantastic, and the moment when Leon appears and kind of connects with Grace, it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. The story, sort of short narrative summary, the story alternates between these two big guys, Grace and Leon, each character presenting a different style of survival horror. Make no mistake, emphasis on survival here, right? Grace's story, she explores the terrifying Victor's hospital, or asylum as I like to call it, trying to survive and escape. Her section focuses on stealth and hiding, solving puzzles, not that many, managing very limited ammo and inventory. I said very limited up until you start to upgrade stuff. Avoiding powerful mutant creatures, she's weak, slow, forcing the player to carefully sneak past zombies and stalker moments while solving locked door puzzles and collecting resources for crafting survival tools. This is where I stumbled quite a lot. Leon's story, on the other hand, which molds around Grace fantastically, kudos to the people that wrote the story. Leo enters the hospital to rescue Grace. His sections are the opposite, right? Fast-paced combat, heavy weapons, brutal zombie fighting. Leon, he kicks ass. I've actually mastered the Leon slash. No, check this out. Gameplay wise, it's as good as it gets. I've never seen the perfect level design, but this gets very, very close. Resident Evil 4, if I could make a criticism on that, just point out a couple of things, had very good level design, but it were moments when you had to backtrack too much. Here, I felt like the map of the level was smaller and well made, not so confusing, even though I struggled. I don't think I'm the only person who struggled, but there's moments when left becomes right, up, down, and you are lost. So I guess it kind of falls onto the player. Also, I did a ton of backtracking, especially when I played the whole hospital level, getting back to my save point, micromanaging my inventory, constantly crafting a ton and utilizing multiple save points just in case I don't mess something off, and I end up dying a ton. This breaks immersion. It broke my immersion. Okay, it might be something that you will encounter yourself. I'm never gonna deduct points for this because this is player experience rather than what the developers intended, right? But it breaks immersion because at some point I crafted a ton, I was getting more powerful, but still Grace was pumping and humping those aching sounds that she made as if she was scared, but I was just running all over the place and I was no longer scared. I was scared for about an hour and a half, and then I got over it. That was my problem. This is my gripe, because during this entire video game, when it came to gameplay, I was never able to find a balance. Never. I've either had too many bullets in my inventory or I didn't had any, right? So I was either very powerful and being afraid of what came around the corner made no sense, or literally I had nothing in my inventory and it hurt a ton. Having to go back to previous saves, whatever, and that really broke the immersion, but that's my fault. Also, every single boss fight, which you get maybe like 2 of them with Grace, the majority are with Leon, is never about shooting or about being aggressive like you would in a Souls game, like you would in any other typical shooter. This is not about wasting ammo. And I've learned that at the end of the game. It took me like a lot. It's always about playing it smart and being able to shoot when the game wants you to shoot at the right exact moment to trigger a cutscene. And that was the thing. Like, I felt like I didn't know what to do. Like in the church with Leon, the boss fight, I think I recorded it. Let me just see if I have some footage. I died many times, right? I got frustrated because no matter how many times I hit him in the right spot, he blew up. There were too many enemies around me. And at the end, I was able to kill him in less than 2 minutes by shooting from an up top position, which, again, the game wants you to act in a certain way, wants you to shoot only in specific moments, and the player being heretic and just running around might not always do that. This causes frustration, and I've seen people on Reddit complain that the level of difficulty is a bit too high. Not necessarily. You just need to position yourself and only shoot when you must shoot, and then you're never going to complain about ammunition and whatnot. Also with Grace, I've spent around 6 hours in the hospital. Granted, keep in mind, on the internet it says that the entire video game to finish, it takes around 15 hours, 12 to 15 hours to finish the game. And I spent 6 hours only in that hospital, going over and over through all of those rooms. It was a shit show. I loved it, but it broke the immersion, and her pouting and her gushing, whatever, when she was running around, it kind of made me go crazy at some point. Also, a gripe that I have with this, I don't know if it's possible, I gotta check, but I've played all this video game. I wasn't able to put a marker on the map, right? Granted, I understand the developers, right? It's a small game, it's a small map, levels are small maps, so you won't really need to put markers. But there's often enough times when I kept looking at the map because I kept getting lost, and I felt like I needed to put a marker. You know, Assassin's Creed type of marker, you know, Elder Scrolls type of marker. I needed that marker, but this is a horror survival video game, and you're supposed to use your surroundings and, you know, the flashlight. I get it, but I needed that marker. Graphics wise, it's a heavy hitter. Yeah, no, Resident Evil Requiem is a heavy hitter. I felt like, from a visual standpoint, there was probably like less than 10% visual improvement to the quality of the graphics from the last installment, from Resident Evil 4. These video games look almost absolutely identical, but it does hit heavier. Like, you better have a 16 gigabytes of VRAM on your graphics card, or else I don't think you're going to be able to play this. The good news is that you have, within the settings menu, an option for very low-end spec computers, or maybe even if you're playing this on a handheld, which, you know, Steam Deck, whatever. I don't think this is certified from Steam Deck. I am sure that this is not certified for Steam Deck, but maybe it will be. But anyways, the devs have included that option, and if you have a potato, you can still very much enjoy this video game. I turned everything almost to the max, and I'm using native upscaling tracing. I'm not using any of that quality performance, and I have ray tracing turned on. And other than the fact when you are outside and there's a bunch of puddles and whatnot, ray tracing doesn't do much from a visual point of view, but it takes away around 30 frames more, 40 frames, if I'm not mistaken. At least if you're using native AA, which for me, that was like what I've used. You will see in my gameplay 39 frames, 44 frames, depending on the cutscene, depending on the light. It didn't bother me. I played the game under 60 frames most of the times, and sometimes 44, 39 frames. But the game is slow. You don't need that many frames, and for me, it was important to look absolutely gorgeous, and it does. It sure does. It's a very good looking video game, but it doesn't add up to what Resident Evil 4 had to bring in terms of visuals. Takes away more performance, if you know what I mean. So I don't think that's fair, but that's just how it is. The list of tweaks that you can find in the settings, you can tweak this to your heart content. I'm loving the settings. I'm absolutely loving it, and this should be played by everyone. If you have a potato computer, do not let that stop you from purchasing this video game and playing it, because this can be and should be played and enjoyed by absolutely everyone. Sound is key. Play this with headphones on. I have a pair of open back headphones. They're killing my ears, but I have played it with those headphones on, and my God, the sound is incredible. I absolutely love it. One gripe though, even though if I use my earbuds, which are from AliExpress, they're like $5, or my very expensive AKGs, I had difficulty understanding the positioning of the enemy in both situations. And I've set the sound to TV, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it's my fault, I don't know, but there were moments when I didn't realize where the bad guy was coming from. I just, the left and right was confusing, but the atmosphere, the voices, the small footsteps, the gunfire is incredible. I wish Call of Duty would have sound that good. Like the gunfire is amazing. It just sounds so good. It's a very good sound design, you know what I mean? And voice acting is superb. Same voice actors as usual for Leon. I believe it's Paul Mercier. Don't quote me on that one, but I think he's the one. You know him from a lot of titles. While I understand that this is a very expensive video game and, you know, it might not be the very best, it's hard for me at this point because it's the latest and because I just finished playing it like a couple of hours ago. I just write my script and I started just recording this because it's the latest and because, you know, I'm infatuated with it. But it's a solid experience, and for me, it's a 10. I don't see the problem with this video game. Like, I don't see any problems with it. Zero glitches, zero bugs, zero crashes. It works from every angle. It was a fantastic, like, I think I finished this at roughly around 30 hours. Worth every single penny. What a video game. Like, the best video game, action video game of 2026. I don't think anything else is coming this year that will be able to top this experience. Oh, and one more thing, if you find the difficulty to be very difficult, like you're getting your ass kicked, if you die a bunch of times, the game will ask you if you want to drop the level of difficulty. Be careful not to do that. I urge you not to do that, because you're not going to be able to come back to it unless you go into game mode plus after you finish it. Even if you are slightly struggling, keep with it. That struggle is very rewarding. Just like, do not back away from the level of difficulty. Trust me, it's worth it. I did not. I was tempted because I got my ass kicked, but stick with it. You're gonna have a lot of crafting materials. It's gonna be fine. And if you're wasting like a ton of ammunition, is because you're not shooting at the right moment. And when it comes to boss fights, shooting is not the way to go about it. Trust me. Just finding workarounds in the right moment, and it's gonna be fine. Like, it's the level of difficulty is not the problem. It's usually the player that's the main concern. My name is 쏘ʟᴍᴏsᴛ. I highly recommend Resident Evil Requiem. I loved it. Stay safe. See you in the next one.